Hello, my name is Charles Blevins, and I am a psychic. I am recording this for people to understand what it means to be psychic and what I have come to understood from what many people will call the other side. I will first tell you a little about my experience and understanding. When I started paying attention to my spiritual ability to communicate with the other side, I thought it was kind of neat, interesting. I didn't take it so seriously. As I have gone more into communicating with the other side, them teaching me and showing me things about spirituality, love, and kindness, and coming to peace with this side and the other side. It has made me become more serious in how I communicate, more careful about my communication, making sure that I am not putting my opinion into things as much as I am delivering information more correctly, accurately, and trying not to guess at things that I see. And when I don't understand things that I see, I normally will keep my mouth shut until it becomes clear and I fully understand it. Being psychic is like looking through a keyhole, and you're looking into the other room through the keyhole. You just see a little something, and that's all you're given. So you get these little clips of information about people, about life, about the other side. It isn't that you see everything, you only see what the other side wants you to see. What I've come to notice is everything that I get is from God, but it may not come directly from God, but more like a hierarchy. There's God, and then God has his or her workers helping God out to assist in God's mission for them. Just like we all have special gifts here when we're born, some people can sing so gracefully and beautiful, some people can write, some people are excellent athletes, some people are great spiritualists, some people are wonderful motivators. There's all kinds of people here on earth that make up humanity, and every one of those skill sets is direly needed. We could claim that they are all gifts of God, which, in my opinion, would be correct. At the same token, it is up to us to recognize those skill sets that lie in ourselves and to utilize them to help not only us as individuals, but all of humanity. What I have come to see as a psychic is that we are all so intertwined and we are very much a part of each other, and we just cannot realize it. And science is starting to verify this and prove that we are intertwined and that we are a part of each other. And I find that very fascinating at the end of the day, that science is starting to come to the same conclusions that a lot of heavy spiritualists have come to. I will not turn around and tell you that, oh, I get psychic reading information on every person who I come in contact with. It doesn't work like that. It isn't as if I have a choice of what I get to see. What I do find at the end of the day is the information I get to see is never the information we want to hear, but the information that we need to hear. It's almost like getting a spanking from your parent, telling you, don't do this, you're going to hurt yourself. And that's what I find a lot of times, is that the other side is so compassionate and filled with love and caring about our lives, about how we live our lives. They want us to live and to experience life. They want us to make mistakes, and they want us to learn from our mistakes. But at the same token, when they see that we're getting too far off of track from our purpose in life, they come along and they give little bits of information to people like myself, or even directly to you. And they're hoping that you will pick up on it and utilize that information to put yourself back on track. When a psychic comes in handy is because someone has gotten off track and they can't see the messages that they're receiving to put themselves back on track. And because a psychic is a little bit more in tune, because of the steps that we go through to connect to the other side, allows us to receive that information a little bit clearer, cleaner, to turn around and deliver to you. It isn't that other people don't have this ability, or no humans have the ability to communicate directly with God. Everyone has that ability. But it's like any good athlete. Not just because everyone can play football doesn't mean that everyone can be an NFL football star. Just because everyone has the ability to sing doesn't mean that everyone can sing with such grace and beauty as a professional singer. This will apply to anything in life. But it takes time and practice to develop a skill set. Whether you have a gift from God to sing, it still means that you have to fine-tune it, you have to practice it every day, you have to follow through and maintain that skill set. The same thing applies to a psychic. It isn't that, oh, you just get to see through a keyhole and see bits and pieces of other people's lives and the other side and things that may be going on around you. It's that you have to practice it and hone and work on it constantly. There are things that I have to do that takes hours and hours just to make sure I'm in that right place to help other people. See, the trick about being a psychic is like everyone else in life. We really, truly all just want to help each other. But we use a bartering system called capitalism to move funds back and forth. It is no longer about, oh, I grow tomatoes in my garden and you have fruit trees, let's just swap and exchange. Nowadays, we swap and exchange money for our services. This is a natural part of life, and we all have to accept this. So many people ask me, well, why do I charge? Well, like anyone else, when you go to see a doctor, you're paying them. Why? Because they're practicing a skill set, they're maintaining that skill set to be proficient, to make sure that they can better serve you. Everyone should be practicing their skill set to the greatest level that's possible for them. And we should all be willing to pay when we need those skill sets in our lives. It's just common sense. Psychics are no different than anyone else. We all go through our ups and downs. We all have our issues. We all smile and laugh. We all get in trouble. We all help someone. That's part of being human. The only difference is a psychic has a specific skill set, just like a singer does, like a comedian does, like an actor does. And that's a part of being a human being. These gifts come to us in many different forms. There is no one way to get to God. There are an infinite number of ways to get to God. There is no one right religion. There is no one right way to pray. The point is that as long as you're trying to connect to God, there will always be a way to connect to God that best fits you and that is suitable for you and the way you are living your life. This much I have learned. Never set judgment on anyone's life. Because as soon as we do, we start setting judgment on our own lives. The biggest thing I'm learning is that we cause ourselves our own pain, our own suffering. God doesn't want to see us to suffer. God wants to see us prosper. But while we're here on earth, we are here to learn. We're learning how to become better souls. We're learning how to communicate with each other. We're learning how to love in many different forms. And what I find that's the hardest is that a lot of these forms that we learn to love through can be very tragic and carries a lot of pain with us. But we have two different ways of looking at things sometimes. Sometimes the most painful things carry the greatest amount of love, but they also carry the greatest amount of pain within our hearts. And it's up to us to release that pain and let it go and find the love that comes from it, the compassion and the learning lessons that was in those tragic moments. Or else we can sit there and hold on to all that anger and hate and shut down our hearts. These are the things that I deal with constantly with people. What I do is not a joke. It's not meant to harm people. It's meant to help people. And it's primarily meant to help people open back up their hearts, help them clean out the fears that are inside of them, and move them back on track of living their lives and filling it up with lots of experiences and learning about love. I wish I had time to sit here and tell you more, but I try to keep these little tidbits short so that I do not turn into a preaching person about the other side, about God, or about how we treat each other. I wish you the best. If you have any questions, you're more than happy to turn around and contact me. Take care.